like a family, you know what I'm saying? It's really hard to not be part of certain things in the neighborhood as you're growing up, you know what I'm saying? You automatically be involved with certain things.
Sheff G sent his girl a wild loyalty bonus, 100 grand wired straight from prison. But just weeks later, she unfollowed him, wiped all their photos, and started posting, "I'm single by choice." Now everyone's whispering about leaked footage, and Sheff can't say a single thing from behind bars. It's crazy how fast things flipped. That so-called 100K loyalty payment was supposed to keep everything solid between them, but instead, it's turned into a full-blown mess. The internet's been on fire all week. People can't stop talking, arguing, and guessing what really went down. Back in October 2025, Sheff G officially turned himself in to start his 5-year prison sentence after pleading guilty to serious charges, attempted murder and conspiracy, all tied to that massive Brooklyn gang case. It was a shocking moment for fans who'd followed his come up. And if you've ever had someone close to you locked up, you know how rough that first stretch hits. Everything changes fast. When someone's locked up, everything changes.
First lesson I learned in prison, don't trust nobody. You know what I'm saying? Trust yourself.
The calls gotta be scheduled, the visits carefully planned, and letters become lifelines. It turns into a relationship that's all about trust, patience, and loyalty. Nothing else keeps it together. And the moment one person starts slipping or second-guessing, boom, the whole thing collapses like a house of cards in a hurricane. Then came November 2025, just a month into Sheff G's sentence, and things took a wild turn.
This is what I remember, you feel me? So boom, scrolling on the gram. Look, I'm scrolling on the gram one day, you feel me? I see her.
During one of those prison visits, word started spreading that Sheff wired his girl, Foreign Gale, a massive $100,000. Let that sink in for a second. Not 20 racks, not 50, but a whole 100 grand. Cash money, wired straight from behind bars. Now pause and think about what that really means. Sheff had to make moves from inside a cell, setting up the wire, making calls, talking to the right people, and trusting every step of the process. That's not easy when you're locked down and every message has to move through someone else. Soon enough, screenshots started flying all over social media. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you name it. The receipts were clear as day, showing a pending $100,000 transfer dated November 12, 2025. It didn't take long before everyone online started going crazy, wondering why Sheff would drop that kind of money while sitting behind bars. There was no denying it. The money was real, the wire was real, and the screenshots proved everything. But the big question everyone had was simple.
It's always going to be tough, you know what I'm saying? That's something very hard to prepare for.
Why now? The internet, being what it is, exploded with all kinds of wild takes. Some people were calling it the most romantic move ever. Like, this man really loves his girl that much that he's sending her 100 bands from behind bars. To a lot of folks, that looked like real love. A man showing pure loyalty, putting his money where his mouth is, literally. Reports even described it as a loyalty bonus, a way of saying thank you to his girlfriend Kyla for sticking with him through his sentence. She stood by him when most would have walked away, so he rewarded her big time. But not everyone saw it that way, and that's when the internet got loud. The other side of the crowd was way more ruthless.
And I remember I didn't want to hit her up on some, you feel me, on some hard eyes or send no, you know, some regular so I just say, yo.
You like, what, you thought I had some
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, like some
Comments started flooding in like, bro, just funded her whole new life with another dude. And she took that cash and vanished. People couldn't stop debating if Sheff G was being loyal or just getting played. Memes were flying, people were clowning, and everyone had an opinion, from calling him generous to naive to straight up simping. And honestly, when you've got 100 grand leaving your account while you're locked up with zero control over what's happening outside, the situation starts looking real messy, real fast. That kind of move is a huge risk, like betting your whole life on one person. You're trusting them with your money, your name, and even your heart. For a while though, it looked like everything was cool.
Everybody else ain't sent her, so I just say, yo, on some New York shit, yo, you feel me? And look, Nana, she hit me back. I know she probably was thinking, like, what the f? So she hit me back like, yo, it was over.
No drama, no chaos, just two people trying to figure out how to make it work. One locked up, one free, and both trying to hold it together. It actually seemed solid for a minute, but then little signs started creeping in. By late January, going into early February 2026, people online began noticing something strange. Suddenly, Sheff G and Foreign Gale weren't following each other on Instagram anymore. Their cute couple pics, the ones everyone used to comment on, gone. Wiped clean like the whole relationship never even happened. And in today's social media world, we all know what that means. That's not just tidying up your page. That's a full-on announcement. A digital breakup statement saying loud and clear, "We done." Before long, every media outlet picked it up. Yahoo Entertainment, Hot 97, you name it.
First lesson that fatherhood taught me, first of all, shout out to my baby girl. I know you're gonna watch this. Love you, baby.
Everyone started connecting the dots and running with the story, breaking down every deleted post, every unfollow, and every cryptic caption like detectives trying to solve a mystery. Word hit the internet fast. Sheff G and his girlfriend, Foreign Gayle, had allegedly split just weeks after he wired her that jaw-dropping $100,000 from prison.
Fatherhood taught me that life is precious, you heard? And you really gotta be there for your kids. You can't just, money ain't everything, you heard? It's the emotional support too, so.
And once social media caught wind of it, the story blew up like crazy. Reaction videos started flooding TikTok, X, and YouTube. Everyone had something to say. Bloggers were eating it up, and comment sections turned into straight-up courtrooms with people arguing nonstop about who was right and who was wrong.
Everything we're supposed to do, I just want the kids and I want the youth to see the growth and the development with me and my label and all my peers around me.
But while all that chaos was spinning, Foreign Gayle, or Kyla, was getting torched by the public. People were all up in her DMs, flooding her comments, tagging her nonstop, and throwing wild accusations left and right. Some were defending her, but most were dragging her hard. It was relentless. Then out of nowhere, she finally clapped back. Not with a long post or a tell-all video, but with a few short statements on what looked like her Instagram stories. And they hit like a bomb. She wrote, "Don't associate me with any man. I'm single by choice for reasons that don't concern the miserable."
Make sure if you're a father and you get into the bag, make sure you did. Emotional support is needed, you heard? Especially when you have a baby girl.
And I'm not interested in anybody RN either, so stop with the DMs. On the surface, it sounded like a woman standing firm, taking her power back, and making it clear she didn't owe anyone an explanation. But underneath that confidence, the internet couldn't stop wondering what really happened behind the scenes. I'm single by choice. Don't associate me with any man. Cool. That's confidence, that's independence, and nobody can knock that. But the timing of it, that's what sent the internet into a total meltdown. Because this was coming just weeks after Sheff G wired her a full 6 figures from prison. That twist had every comment section from New York to LA going absolutely nuclear. The internet split into 2 camps instantly. Some people were showing love to Kyla, saying stuff like, "Y'all don't get it. Waiting for someone serving 5 years is no joke." And honestly, that's real. Doing time takes a massive toll on both sides, and not everyone's built for that kind of long-distance pain. But the other half of the crowd, way less sympathetic. Comments were flying like, "Stop letting these girls finesse y'all," and "Bro just got played." People were calling Sheff's move pure simp energy. And it wasn't just random trolls this time. Verified hip-hop pages, bloggers, and big-name media personalities were all chiming in with the same take. Sheff got done dirty. What made it sting even worse for fans rooting for him was that this wasn't even the first time loyalty had been questioned in their relationship. Rewind to August 2025, literally a day before Sheff was supposed to turn himself in, and cheating rumors about Foreign Gayle started making rounds online. So when this latest situation hit, people were quick to connect the dots. To many, it didn't look like a simple breakup anymore. It looked like history repeating itself, and fans couldn't stop talking about it. The timing of it all was straight up cold. Imagine this, Sheff G's about to walk into court, knowing he's leaving in cuffs, about to spend the next 5 years away from his daughter, his career, and everything he's built from the ground up. And the night before that life-changing moment, the internet explodes with rumors that his girl was stepping out on him. That's brutal. Back then, Foreign Gayle shut it all down quick. She called the rumors fake, said the texts floating around were old and taken out of context, just another wave of internet gossip. And honestly, people believed her. The so-called receipts look shaky. Blurry screenshots, half messages, and random claims that didn't really add up. So most folks gave her the benefit of the doubt and moved on. But now, with everything that's gone down, the unfollows, the deleted pics, the "I'm single by choice" post, the whole internet started looking back at those old cheating claims real differently. Suddenly, everyone was digging back through old posts, screenshots, and comments, trying to connect the dots like digital detectives. People were dissecting every emoji, every caption, every story she'd ever posted, building their own timelines that proved what they already wanted to believe. Because that's how the internet works. Once the crowd decides on a narrative, the truth doesn't even matter anymore. The story becomes the truth. The memes turn into evidence. The jokes become facts. And soon, everyone's convinced they know the full story. And for Foreign Gayle, the court of public opinion had already made its ruling. She took the money and dipped, leaving Sheff looking like the one who got played. Fair or not, true or not, that's the story that stuck. And once a narrative locks in within hip-hop, it's almost impossible to shake it off. That disloyal label, it sticks like glue and follows you forever. Just ask anyone who's ever been dragged by the culture. Once the streets decide your name means betrayal, there's no clean comeback. But to really understand why this situation hit so deep, why fans cared so much, and why emotions ran wild, you gotta look at who Sheff G really is. This isn't some random rapper caught in messy drama. This man helped build Brooklyn drill from the ground up. His story runs way deeper than just headlines and rumors. It's pain, hustle, and legacy all wrapped together. Sheff G, government name Michael Kyle Williams, was born on September 23, 1998, right in the heart of Brooklyn, New York, specifically Flatbush, one of the realest and rawest neighborhoods in the city. If you know Flatbush, you know it's no playground. It's a place that shapes you early, where your block can define your future before you even hit your teenage years. He grew up in the middle of it all, raised by a Trinidadian mom and a Haitian dad, surrounded by culture, music, and struggle all at once. Flatbush gave him that raw energy, that survival mindset, and that sound that would later define an entire movement. It's what made him Sheff G, the voice of the streets who turned his pain into power. Sheff G's sound didn't come out of nowhere. He was inspired by the greats. Early on, he was soaking in the storytelling of the notorious B.I.G. and the wild, raw energy coming out of Chicago's drill wave. Artists like Chief Keef and Lil Bibby left a massive mark on him, shaping the gritty, unfiltered tone that would later define Brooklyn drill itself. But here's the wild part. By the time Sheff was just 12 years old, he was already affiliated with the 83 Gangsta Crips, better known as the 8 Trey Crips. That's not some playground clique or middle school mischief. That's real-life street politics. And in certain parts of Brooklyn, that's just how it goes. You're either with the people on your block, or you're the one getting pressed by them. Let's make it real clear. When people hear gang-affiliated at 12, they might picture a kid trying to act tough, but it's not that simple. In neighborhoods like Flatbush, the gang is the neighborhood. It's the same faces you see every day, the dudes you walk to the bodega with, the ones looking out when your folks are working late, the older homies making sure you don't get caught slipping. That's the set. It's survival, not some lifestyle choice. Sheff's talked about it himself, especially in his Fox 5 exclusive interview, where he broke it all down plain and honest. He explained how growing up in that kind of environment shapes you, not just in the streets, but in how you see the world, how you move, and how you build your name. It's not about wanting trouble, it's about surviving the world you were born into. That life came with real consequences fast. By the time Sheff G was just 15, he caught his first charge after a street fight in 2014. Then, only a year later, he was hit with a felony gun charge that sent him away for 2 years. Imagine that. 2 whole years locked up as a teenager. But that's the thing about Sheff. Every time life tried to knock him down, he came back swinging twice as hard. And when he finally got out in 2017, he wasted no time getting back to business. That same year, he dropped No Suburban, a fiery diss track responding to 22 Jeezy's Suburban. The song went crazy. It blew up overnight. Millions of views, endless reposts, and suddenly everyone in Brooklyn was talking about Sheff G. That record was the spark that lit up the entire drill scene, the shot heard around Brooklyn, and it wasn't just music hype. It was real-life energy being poured into every bar. Sheff wasn't rapping about the streets, he was the streets. His sound, his tone, his presence, it all came from real experience. The beef between him and 22 GZ, who was linked with the Gangster Disciples, became a defining moment in Brooklyn drill history. It mirrored the actual street tension that had been brewing for years between the Crips and GDs in Brooklyn neighborhoods. This wasn't some clout-chasing rap beef made up for attention. This was raw, unfiltered reality turned into music. And that's why it hit so hard with people who really knew what was happening behind those lyrics and beats. It wasn't just art, it was survival being told through a mic. By 2019, Sheff G had leveled all the way up. He launched his own label, Winner's Circle Entertainment, and started carving out his lane in the game for real. He dropped projects like The Unlucky Kid and followed up strong with One and Only in 2020, which gave fans the gold-certified banger No Suburban Part 2. That record took his street legend status and turned it into mainstream respect. Then came Tiptoe with Sleepy Hollow, a wild track that sampled Tiny Tim of all people and still went insanely hard. The song blew up, pulling crazy numbers across every platform. Sheff was building something solid, not just a career, but a movement. He started locking in with big names too. Polo G, A Boogie with the Hoodie, Fivio Foreign, King Von, heavy hitters from every corner of hip-hop. The money was stacking, the fan base was growing, and for a while, it really looked like Sheff was one of the few who made it all the way out the trenches. But as the music started booming, the other side of fame started creeping up. While he was on stage and in studios, the feds were quietly building a case. And it wasn't just some light investigation. This was a 4-year operation involving 22 NYPD teams from the Gun Violence Suppression Division and warrant squads. They had it all. Surveillance footage, text records, even social media posts. They were piecing everything together bit by bit, watching every move. And when it finally came crashing down in May 2023, Sheff G got swept up in a massive indictment, 140 counts deep, naming him and 31 other alleged members of the 8 Trade Crips and the 9 Ways gang. It wasn't just headlines anymore. It was a full-blown takedown, and the rise that once looked unstoppable suddenly hit the hardest wall imaginable. We're talking heavy charges here. Attempted murder, conspiracy, and multiple shootings spread across Brooklyn. Prosecutors didn't hold back either. They labeled Sheff G a gangland godfather, claiming he used his rap money to bankroll violence on the streets. According to reports, he was allegedly paying for hits, rewarding shooters with stacks of cash and jewelry, and even treating the crew to fancy steak dinners at Brooklyn Chop House like it was nothing. One of the darkest moments came after a 2020 mass shooting that left 23-year-old Theodore Sr. dead and 5 innocent bystanders injured. Investigators later claimed that Sheff had serious influence over everything that went down. One even said, if Sheff said something, it happened. There was even mention of a chilling text message. We gotta get a big one at words that, according to authorities, sparked chaos that spread through Brooklyn streets. That's not rap beef, that's real life with real consequences, and lives were lost in the process. Through all that madness, the indictments, the hearings, the constant headlines, the wiretaps, the surveillance, one person never seemed to leave his side. One woman stayed solid when the world was pointing fingers and painting him as the villain. Foreign Gale, real name Kyla Lauren. Kyla wasn't just the rapper's girlfriend. She had her own name, her own lane, a New York-based model, makeup artist, and influencer with Dominican and Italian roots. She built a following of over 82,000 fans on Instagram, running her own beauty page and doing collaborations before she ever got tied to Sheff G. She was already doing her thing, independent, confident, and hustling. But when their worlds collided, it looked like something real. And that's exactly why this whole situation stings so much now. Because what once looked like loyalty and love turned into one of the biggest public heartbreaks the hip-hop world's seen in years. Sheff G actually told the story himself, how it all started like something out of a movie. He was just scrolling through Instagram one random day, saw Kyla's picture, and decided to shoot his shot. But he didn't slide in her DMs with some long, cheesy paragraph or fake smooth talk. None of that. He kept it real and typed just 2-letter, you like you gonna send her some shit? That was it. Short, bold, and straight to the point. And somehow that one little move flipped into something way bigger. From that DM, a whole love story kicked off. They started talking, then dating, then moving in together, building what looked like a real family. By October 2020, the couple welcomed their daughter, Milani Sky Williams, and Sheff couldn't stop talking about how much she meant to him. He called Kyla his heart and other half, saying she completely changed how he saw the world. And when you watch his interviews, you can tell that love wasn't for show. He talked about fatherhood with real emotion, the kind that comes from deep down. That was a man who loved his little girl and the woman who gave her to him. So when March 2025 came around and Sheff finally stood in court pleading guilty to 2 counts of attempted murder and conspiracy, people braced themselves for the worst. He got hit with a 5-year sentence, a major drop from the 20 years prosecutors originally wanted. But through it all, everyone believed Kyla would stay by his side. Fans thought she'd hold it down for him like she always said she would. The loyal partner, the solid foundation. Nobody expected the storm that was about to hit just months later. 5 years is a long stretch, no doubt about that. But this was the same woman who stood by Sheff through everything. The indictment, the bail hearings, the endless headlines, and the online chaos. If anyone was gonna hold it down, everybody thought it'd be her. She was the one people pointed to and said, nah, she's solid, she's built different. That's exactly why the whole $100,000 wire transfer and everything that followed shook the internet so hard. Because this wasn't just another messy breakup, it felt like the fall of what people saw as one of the realest love stories in the entire drill scene. Fans were invested, it wasn't just gossip anymore, it was heartbreak for the culture. But then came the rumors, and that's when things started getting even darker. The talk online wasn't just about their breakup anymore, it was about something way more serious. People started saying that chilling footage had allegedly been leaked by Foreign Gale herself after things ended. Social media went wild with it. Blog headlines, TikTok reaction videos, Twitter threads, everyone was running with the story like it was already confirmed truth. The speculation spread faster than wildfire, and suddenly everyone had receipts or sources claiming they'd seen something. But here's where it gets real murky. After digging through web archives, X posts, IG profiles, and countless clips floating around online, there's zero verified proof that any real footage was ever leaked by Foreign Gale. None. It's all speculation. Stories stacked on top of rumors with nothing solid to back it up. So while the internet keeps spinning its narrative, the truth is still unclear. And Sheff G, sitting behind bars, can't say a word to defend himself. Meanwhile, the culture keeps buzzing, trying to separate fact from fiction in a story that's already spiraled way past control. Let me make this crystal clear for everyone still running with the rumor. As of right now, there is no verified, confirmed, or legitimate footage that can be directly traced back to Foreign Gale. None. Now, does that mean nothing at all happened behind the scenes? Not exactly. It's totally possible that something might have been shared privately, maybe through DMs, group chats, or platforms that vanish content fast. The internet moves crazy quick. Stuff gets posted, deleted, screenshotted, and twisted before anyone can even figure out what's real. But based on everything public and documented, the so-called leaked footage story seems to come straight from viral gossip and overblown speculation, not from any confirmed evidence. The only actual material that ever went viral were screenshots, the $100,000 wire transfer receipts, and text-based posts from Kyla's page. Static images, no videos, no proof of a leak. So why does that matter? Because in hip-hop culture, your reputation is everything. Once a story sticks, true or not, it spreads faster than facts ever could. And for someone like Sheff G, sitting in a cell with over 4 years still left to serve, that narrative can be brutal. He can't jump online to clear his name or explain himself. He's just stuck watching his image shift while the internet debates his life like it's a TV show. Now the comments are wild, people saying, bruh just funded her whole new life with somebody else. Others cracking jokes like, guess this just boosted Sheff G's name by 1,000 times. He about to get letters from every pen pal in the country. But behind the memes and the trolling, there's real damage. Because when the internet builds a story for you, even without proof, it becomes your truth in the eyes of millions. And that's something even fame or money can't always fix. What started as heartbreak has turned into entertainment. Memes, jokes, and endless reaction videos for clicks. But behind all that online noise, there's a real person sitting in a cell dealing with real pain. People forget that. You can't grieve properly behind bars. You can't sit alone in your room and cry it out. You can't call your people at 2 a.m. to vent. And you definitely can't take a drive to clear your head. You're just stuck, surrounded by your thoughts while the outside world keeps echoing through every little crack that reaches you. When you zoom out, it's clear this isn't just about Sheff G. It's part of a much bigger pattern we've seen again and again in hip-hop. Incarceration breaks relationships. That's just the truth. We saw it happen with Gucci Mane and his ex before Keisha Cole came into the picture. We've seen it with countless rappers who went in with a solid relationship and came out to a whole new reality. Sheff G's story has become a mirror for a bigger conversation. One about loyalty, about what people expect from their partners when life takes a dark turn, and about whether those expectations are even fair. Because let's be honest, 5 years is a long time. That's birthdays missed, holidays missed, your daughter growing up while you're not there for the little moments that matter most. Asking someone to put their entire life on pause for half a decade is a huge thing. Even if love is real, that's still a heavy load to carry. It's the kind of strain that tests everything: trust, patience, and faith. And not everyone can make it through that storm. And just when people thought it couldn't get heavier, new rumors started floating online. Whispers that Sheff G's sentence might actually stretch out to 2029, supposedly because of uncredited prior time served. None of that's been confirmed, but the talk alone keeps fueling the fire, leaving fans anxious and confused about what's next for him. No matter how you look at it, this isn't just a scandal. It's a real-life story about loss, loyalty, and what happens when love meets the hardest kind of pressure imaginable. Let's set the record straight. Official reports confirm that Sheff G's sentence is a standard 5-year term starting in 2025. There's no verified legal proof anywhere that his time's been extended. But once that rumor hit Facebook and Threads, people ran with it like it was breaking news. Suddenly, everyone had a theory. Some even claimed that the supposed extension was the real reason behind the breakup, saying Kyla found out it might not be 5 years, but closer to 7 or 8, and she decided she couldn't wait that long. But again, that's all speculation. That's the internet being the internet. Stories get twisted, reposted, and remixed until nobody remembers where they started. The only solid truth we've got right now, as of February 2026, is this: neither Sheff G nor Foreign Gale has publicly confirmed anything. Everything the culture's been dissecting, the unfollows, the deleted pics, the I'm single posts, and the endless reactions. It's all based on digital breadcrumbs. We don't know if they quietly agreed to part ways, if things ended messy behind closed doors, or if they might even circle back down the road. Anything's possible, but until one of them speaks up, it's all just online guessing. Here's the part that gets lost in the noise, though. Whatever people say about Sheff's past, the man was trying to do better. Say what you want about his charges, the alleged ties to gang activity, or the RICO case. He'd been using his voice for something bigger. He even spoke at the United Nations about gun violence, pushing a message of change and growth. It's wild when you think about it. A guy who came up from the toughest blocks of Brooklyn, once labeled as a menace, standing in front of world leaders talking about peace and reform. It shows there was more to him than the headlines, more to his story than just controversy. A man trying to rewrite his own legacy, even while serving time. Sheff G wasn't just talking about change, he was living it. Before going in, he was out here speaking to youth groups, sitting down with kids, and using his platform to push a different message. In his Fox 5 interview, and again on Rap TV, he kept it raw and real. No sugarcoating, no fake positivity. He looked straight into the camera and said, "Don't trust nobody, trust yourself, man." Those 4 words hit heavy now, because sitting in that cell today, Sheff's probably replaying that same advice in his head, wondering how it feels when life tests it for real. Imagine trusting someone with your heart, your money, and your family, and then watching the internet tear that trust apart piece by piece. The mother of his child, the woman he called his heart and other half, the same person he sent a $100,000 wire to as a symbol of loyalty, now caught in a storm that's got the whole culture watching. Maybe she really was the person he believed in, solid, loyal, just overwhelmed by everything that came with the spotlight. Or maybe, deep down, things weren't as perfect as they looked from the outside. Either way, the weight of that realization has got to hit hard, especially when the world won't stop talking about it. And here's the part people tend to forget. Sheff G had already been working hard to clean up his image before all this went down. He wasn't content being known only as a street rapper. He was doing real community work, speaking against gun violence at the United Nations, addressing state officials, and even mentoring youth who came from the same rough streets he did. He wanted to be the example, the one who showed that you can come from the bottom and still choose a different path. That's what makes this whole situation even more layered and emotional. Because now, all that effort to rebuild his image is tangled in a story about love, loyalty, and loss. A story that's got everyone questioning who really had his back when it mattered most. Sheff G even pulled up to a Donald Trump rally in the Bronx back in May 2024, and that move alone had the internet losing its mind. Some people called it clout chasing and opportunistic, while others said it was bold and authentic, proof that he was thinking for himself instead of following the crowd. Either way, it got people talking. He was clearly trying to shift his image, build a new narrative, and show that he was more than just his past. But fast forward to now, and what's everyone focused on? Not his growth, not his attempts at change. Nope, it's all about that $100,000 wire and the breakup. That's the only story that seems to matter online right now. All the interviews, community work, and reform talk buried under gossip and headlines about loyalty and heartbreak. It's wild how quick the internet can erase your progress and reduce your entire journey to a single scandal. When you really think about it, this whole situation is a cautionary tale on so many levels. It's a warning about what happens when you move big money while locked up and can't control how it's used. It's also a wake-up call about the brutal pressure incarceration puts on relationships and the impossible expectations we sometimes place on people thinking love alone can survive every storm. And beyond all that, it's a lesson in how the internet turns pain into entertainment. Somebody's heartbreak becomes a meme. Their private struggle becomes public content. Millions of strangers who don't even know the full story pick sides, make jokes, and then forget about it the next week. It's cold, but it's real. And for Sheff G, a man who tried to rewrite his life story, this might just be the hardest chapter yet. One where the growth gets ignored and the gossip becomes the headline. The moment the next update drops, the story just keeps building. And for Sheff G, this is another wild chapter in a life that's already seen every extreme possible. From the block to the studio, from platinum records to prison walls, and now from love to loss. It's been a ride full of wins, pain, and lessons. Whether that alleged footage ever shows up or not almost doesn't matter anymore, because the damage to the narrative is already done. The court of public opinion has spoken. Actually, multiple courts, depending on what side of the internet you're on. And for a man sitting behind bars doing a nickel with nothing but his thoughts and bits of news trickling in from the outside world, that's gotta hit deep, because you can't fight rumors from a cell, you can't fact-check gossip from a prison phone. All you can do is wait, reflect, and hope that when you finally walk out, the truth, whatever it may be, finally speaks for itself. But make no mistake, Sheff G's story is far from over. He's still got time left on his sentence. He's still got a daughter who loves him. And he's still got music, that same hunger and drive that built his name from nothing. If history's shown us anything about this man, it's that he's built for comebacks. Every time life knocked him down, he found a way to rise again. Stronger, sharper, and louder. Whether that comeback includes a reunion with Kyla or a completely new chapter with fresh energy, only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, when Sheff G finally walks out of those prison doors, the world waiting for him will look nothing like the one he left behind. Everything's changed. The music, the culture, even the people. And when he returns, everyone's gonna be watching to see what move he makes next. So stay tuned. We'll keep you updated as this story keeps unfolding. If you made it to the end, drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like, share, and subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.